And to their credit, the PGMOL did actually respond to me. So, the answer to the question, why was our goal disallowed when other goals have been allowed? And this is their answer. Hi, my name is Mike. Welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular. A vlog that this weekend wondered where the heck the early bird season tickets have got to. A bit late this year, can understand the reasons. Yep, another defeat at home, giving us, 4 points on the season? So 5 points on the season at Turf Moor. When Vinny stood on the balcony last year and said he wanted this season that Turf Moor would be hell, I didn't think he meant it was going to be difficult for Burnley. But defeat, 2-0 on a Sunday, a 1 o'clock kickoff, a ridiculous 1 o'clock kickoff on a Sunday. Credit to the Bournemouth fans who came up and saw a fairly rare victory for them. But they're coming up on a 570-mile round trip on a Sunday to come and watch their team beat a Burnley side that demonstrated why we are getting relegated. Now, I got plenty of comments about the game. I think I'll just kind of go through it in sort of chronological order. The lineup beforehand, I was a little bit surprised that Trafford stayed in. If Trafford was going to get dropped for any game, it was going to be this one, which kind of settles the idea of Muric coming back between now and the end of the season once and for all. I get the point with Trafford. I get the idea that if you take him out, it'll break his confidence, etc. and so forth. But taking him out of the firing line is probably going to do no worse for his confidence than keeping him in it. I feel sorry for the guy. The crowd is wanting to kind of turn on him, but trying not to. He's not the entirety of the problem. Muric is not the solution either. But it's got to the point where it's kind of like, just giving the poor lad a rest, just giving him a break mentally, is probably going to do him a little bit more good than keeping him in. I still think he should be our number one goalkeeper for next season. I still think he is, the future. I still think we're going to make a lot of money off him. But right now, I think just taking him out for his own sanity, let alone the rest of the crowd, is probably beneficial. Cullen restored to the midfield in place of the suspended Josh Brownhill, a place he should have been several matches ago. If Brownhill comes back in for Saturday's match, there will be swear words in this household. The surprise was Cullen was given the captaincy. Now, I've never really subscribed to the fetishization of the captaincy that we have in English football. This idea that the captain should be a leader, should be a shouter, should show passion. That kind of shouty passion thing that is great for the fans and annoying if you must be one of the other players. But giving the captaincy to Cullen made absolutely no sense because Cullen has not been a regular in the team. I get that we don't really have that much in the way of leadership. I get that we don't have that much in the way of the on-field kind of experience or whatever. But giving it to a guy who can't even get off the bench most weeks is ridiculous. And it's just one of those sort of baffling decisions. Thought Cullen played well. Him and Berger tend to set up in the same way. They tend to take up a lot of the same positions. But, it worked better than it has in previous weeks. Like I say, if Cullen is dropped and Brownhill is put back in, then God knows, what are we doing? What are we really doing here now? But I thought Cullen did enough to stay in for at least the next few games. And then the most interesting one, Vitinho on the right wing. Okay, so we buy 100 wingers in the transfer window last off-season, and we end up with our substitute right back being a right-wing starter, ahead of 2 actual right-wingers on the bench in Manuel Benson and Mike Trezor. If that doesn't sum up our recruitment, then I don't know what does. But here's the weird thing. You can't argue it was wrong. And that was the thing I got coming away from yesterday's game. Was Kompany wrong to pick the players that he did? No. Did he get his tactics wrong? No. Did the players play well? Yes. I thought Vitinho was excellent on that right wing with Assignon. So they did everything right. The team started well. They were pressing, they were harrying, they had good chances. And then the first time Bournemouth set foot in our half, they score. A little bit of hesitation between the two centre-backs, Esteve, O'Shea not tracking the runner. They pause for a moment. O'Shea dives in. Cliver puts it in the back of the net. And that is our season in a nutshell. Teams have not had to beat Burnley this year, or at least they've not had to work hard to beat Burnley this year, because Burnley will hand them the game and a goal on a plate. And that's what we did. Like I say, it was their first attack, and it looked like being a goal from the moment the ball was hit forward. And that was it. That was kind of the season. In a nutshell, the game there and then. And, the Clarets responded well. They kept going. They kept playing. They kept playing their style. They kept creating chances. If you read some of the match reports, they talk about Burnley having no cutting edge. We have very little of a cutting edge, but you have to sometimes credit the opposition. There was an excellent save from Neto from a Brun Larsen free kick. There were a number of blocks. There were a number of last-ditch blocks that were made. There was Fofana played through, save from Neto. The follow-up again well blocked. So, while Burnley do not have a cutting edge, or in any kind of edge, it doesn't mean that, we were completely toothless. But it was pretty predictable how the game was going to go, because at the end of the day, part of having a cutting edge is having confidence. And this team's confidence is flatter than a cheap supermarket pizza. We don't know how to pull a goal back, especially when we go behind. And when you're gifting the opposition goals, then you're just making the job doubly hard on yourself. Benson coming on, I thought, was an interesting one because of the reaction he got from the crowd. Now, the crowd you get your usual idiots who boo at the end, who are chanting for Muric as soon as Trafford plays it to the right-hand side instead of the left, or he's too slow or whatever. Forget those idiots. But I thought that the cheering for Benson was a sign of frustration from the crowd, a sign of, we've kind of had a bit enough here. We've tried to support the decisions that the manager's making, the players, the way they are playing, and so on and so forth. The team has been crying out for Manuel Benson, or a Manuel Benson type, and he played, I think, 88 minutes this season, which is ridiculous. I know he got injured, but that is ridiculous for one of the stars of last season. But I thought it was kind of emblematic. We're relying on Manuel Benson. Last season, we didn't rely on Manuel Benson. Benson, he will go down in history as a Burnley legend for what he did last season, not least winning the title down the road. But he took 3 months to get used to the Championship. He's 5'6" on a good day. He's up against Premier League defenders who are at least 6 foot tall. He takes 10 games to get going in a season, and we're throwing him on for 10 minutes at the end of a match in March. And we're expecting him to do things. It isn't fair. It isn't fair to put the guy in that situation. Are we keeping him? Well, we gave him a new contract, so we must be keeping him. Are we keeping him for next season? But how many right wingers we got already who we've already got under contract for next season? We can't be selling all those players we just bought. So bringing on Benson, it was great to see him, but he didn't really have much of a chance. He replaced Vitinho, who I thought had a spectacularly good game, by the way. I've said it already. But, he's not being put in a position to succeed, is he? And that's the problem. No one's being really put in a position to succeed, because at the end of the day, there's 11 games left and we're just literally waiting for it to be mathematically confirmed. The Clarets are going down, and I'm not too sad about that, because you know how I feel about the Premier League, but that's the way it goes. It's just such a disappointing season, and we only have ourselves to blame. So, then there was the disallowed goal. And, disallowed for a push in the penalty box. And a push that we've seen not punished several times this season, not least at home to Luton. See that previous video talking about that, rules and conventions, when's a push, not a push. But to be fair, I actually wrote an email to PGMOL last night It was a fine, I didn't swear or anything like that. I wrote an email to them and I wanted an explanation for the decision. I wanted an explanation why it was disallowed. Why was that disallowed for a push when the Luton goal was not disallowed for a push, where we've had several other instances which are not disallowed for a push, where it is okay to push goalkeepers off the ball now? That is accepted. There have been several instances of that goals have been allowed, and in this case it was not allowed. Why? And to their credit, the PGMOL did actually respond to me. So, the answer to the question, why was our goal disallowed when other goals have been allowed? And this is their answer.
Because fuck you, that's why.
So yeah, you can't really argue with that, can you? It confirms what I've been thinking all along. And good to have it actually on record. Ultimately it was one of those games. What did anyone do wrong? Did Kompany get his tactics wrong? Not really. Did Kompany get his lineup wrong? Not really. Did the players play badly? Not really. At the end of the day, it just proves that this team is not good enough. It's not good enough in terms of confidence. I've said before, the confidence is just subterranean right now. A confident Burnley side would have won that game yesterday, but the toll of the season has just got to the point where this is what happens. In momentum, it snowballs, confidence, disappears, things go wrong, and it's the way it goes. So, yeah, that's it for this week. There is no magic formula. There is no, magic answer. Those people are out there side there who say, Kompany should be sacked. Is it going to make a difference? Of course it isn't. And if Kompany should be sacked, this is the thing about the Kompany Out thing. If you sack Kompany now, is he going to make the players any better? No. Is it going to improve the results? No. Is it going to save us? No. And then you now have to pay out all that money and you have to get someone else in. And you have to get new players in to fit the style that the new manager wants. 2 years ago, 15 new players. Last season, 16 new players. Bringing a new manager, he's going to want 8, 9 new players. And we're selling all those previous players at a loss because other clubs know that, we're trying to get rid because it's a fire sale. Yet you still want to, sack the manager, despite all that. And despite this idea, again, in British football or English football, that firing the manager cures all the problems. It's a one-man thing. Fire the manager, everything's okay, as if the support staff don't count, as if the players that are there don't count, as if the events in the front office don't count. That one man is the problem theory. Look at Manchester United. They had their one-man theory, and their one man was David Moyes, then it was Louis van Gaal, then it was Ralph Rangnick, then it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, now it's Erik ten Hag, then it's going to be the new guy in August, whoever replaces ten Hag, because it's always down to just one man. And that's the thing about the Kompany Out stuff. Oh, it's the easy fix, it's the simple solution to a complex problem. And that is why sacking Kompany is a bad idea. Before you get to all the other stuff around the idea that we're going to go back into a division where the guy got 101 points with a team that he didn't really know at the time, and now he's got a team where he does know. And actually, these players are probably better than we had last time when he got 101 points. So, yeah, you stick with him and you go in the county championship. But what is going to be very interesting next season, I'll do probably something about this in the off-season, is expectations are going to be massive. Absolutely massive. The first 2 or 3 months of next season in the Championship is going to be a real show-me kind of atmosphere in the ground. And the pressure is really, really going to be on. The pressure, actually, weirdly enough, is probably off right now. But the pressure next season, at the start of next season, is going to be huge. But we shall see. That is next season. We shall see what happens in the off-season. That's what, 6 months away still. Who knows? But that's it for this week. Bit rambly, but I apologise. And until then, what we got? West Ham on Saturday. David Moyes left, and left early. He was there on Saturday scouting. Don't know why. He's not to worry about. And then we have Brentford on the 16th. So I'll do my next video after the Brentford game. Till next time, hold the clarets and take care. If you've got any comments about this video, please feel free to leave them down below and I will respond where I can. If you liked it, click the like button. And if you like what I do, have a look around the rest of the channel and click subscribe to be notified when I produce new content.